Hello, brothers and sisters. Come on in. It's dinner time. Come on in. We got some good soul food this evening. I hope that you're ready for it. I hope that you're ready to get this nutritional information that I'm going to serve out to you this evening. And my brothers and sisters, go ahead and invite some of your family members and friends. We got plenty of room at the table. So we're going to do this thing right tonight, okay? You won't regret it. How you doing, Sister Cynthia? How you doing? Come on in, the rest of my brothers and the rest of my sisters. Go ahead and you can invite a guest to come in and have dinner with us tonight. It doesn't matter. We got plenty of room, my brothers. Plenty of room, my sisters. So go ahead, get some of your relatives in and some of your friends in so they can take a part of what we're about to get into tonight. Tonight is a very, very special night, my brothers and sisters. The topic that I'm going to expound to you, not explain to you. A lot of people don't think that certain things could happen when it comes to a relationship. Most people think that everything has to be bad when it comes to a relationship. But I'm going to put a little twist on it tonight, so I hope that you all get ready for this. And there's going to be some valuable information to a lot of you that live in La La Land, because this is reality, and we're going to talk about reality tonight. We're not talking about putting sugar in the tea, but we'll talk about putting salt on the steak, okay? So get ready, my brother and sister. We're about to get into it shortly, so stay tuned. Well, my brothers and sisters, how you doing? Come on in. Come on. We got plenty of room. The plate is set so you can get some of this good soul food tonight. And remember, as I say, come on in and bring some of your friends in so we can really get into it this evening, my brothers and sisters. For those of you that this might be your first time watching this particular broadcast, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. When I say relationships, I talk about relationship pertaining to that of a man and a woman that should be serious, that should commit and move to the covenant level of a relationship. How you doing, mother? My little sister now, see that you all tune in. How you doing, sister Flo Harvey Martin? How you doing? And the rest of you brothers and sisters, come on in and sit around the table, because it's family time. It'd be very, very good, my brother and sister, when I share my evenings with you all and we chop it up over some good soul food. So if anything that you want to discuss, primarily based on what we're going to talk about tonight, go ahead and chime in and we're going to discuss it, okay? So get ready, my brother and sister. For those of you that this is your first time, let me tell you where I come from. I come from a position of a man and a woman from a biblical standpoint. When I say a biblical standpoint, when it comes to a relationship, I talk about when we go to the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible, it explicitly talks about the relationship, the unique relationship that God had with the man first, then secondly, he had a relationship with the woman, and after that, he represented the woman to the man. How you doing, Sister Sherry Smith? And in the presence of God, the man named Adam, he was talking about the woman Eve. He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. As you know, my brother and sister, in the book of Genesis, it's documented that God started the world out with one man and one woman. He did not start the world off with two men or two women. He chose to, and he decided to start the world off with a man and a woman. Now, if you have a different preference when it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister, I encourage you to stay here and get some of this good soul food. So maybe you could learn something, and I just want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you to feel uneasy, but I'm telling you, I come from the relationship position of a man and woman. With that said, tonight's topic is, can you be in a good relationship and still cheat? This is the topic for tonight. What do you all think, my brother and sister? Do you think that you can be in a good relationship and cheat? Most people think that the relationship has to be bad or going south for a man or woman to decide to cheat. That's what most people think. That the relation is something wrong with the relationship. Is poor communication and all kinds of excuses that people say what make a man and a woman cheat in a relationship. But first of all, let's define the word cheat or cheating in a relationship. Now, when I go to the dictionary and I put in cheating in a relationship, and the dictionary gave me this information, it say cheating is defined as the act of being unfaithful to a spouse or partner. That's what the dictionary say. It's typically mean engaging in sexual or romantic relationship with a person other than one's significant others, breaking the commitment or promise in the act. Sister Cheryl said people cheat in good relationship. We're gonna talk about that. Thank you, Sister Cheryl. Now, my brother and sister, I have talked about this a little in the past, but we're gonna put some more spice in the food tonight at the dinner table. Where does cheating start? And when you bring up the topic of cheating, my brother and sister, when a person or group bring up the topic of cheating or the cute word infidelity, most people immediately think about the physical sex with someone, right? That's what most people think. But I have touched on this before. I'm going to touch on this again. Now, let's see what Jesus has to say about it when we go to Matthew 5:27-28. 5:27-28. Again, in Matthew 5:27-28. Jesus made a statement because he was questioning about the relationship between a man and a woman. The Pharisees, they brought this question to Jesus about a man divorcing a woman. And Jesus, it was all kinds of reasons during that time like it is today. But Jesus, he branched off and he went to a statement Jesus said when they were talking about the reason for divorce. And Jesus said, you have heard it was said in those old, that he mean the old time. It said, thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, what is adultery? Adultery is when a man and a woman is married, not going together, not living together, but a man and woman is bona fide married. That's what adultery is, when you're married and you are having emotional and physical ties to someone else, okay? So Jesus said, but I say unto you that everyone that looketh on a woman to lust, this is a key word, to lust after her, committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, a woman, she could look at a man and have lust in her heart too, because you got to understand the difference between a man and a woman is the gender, is male and female. So when we said man, you get woman, and when we say male, you get female. So a woman still is tied to a man she just created from a different perspective. Excuse me, from a different perspective, okay? So Jesus made a statement that all of this stuff, my brother and sister, it happens in the mind and the heart of the man and or woman. So when it comes to the question again, can you be in a good relationship and still cheat? Let's go all the way back to the beginning of time. When I say the beginning of time, we are going to go to the Garden of Eden. Just imagine, my brother and sister, what the Garden of Eden could have looked like. We can't really fathom in our minds what the Garden of Eden looked like. It doesn't look like nothing. Whatever we think about the Garden of Eden, it's a past hour thinking about what the Garden of Eden could have been. That was a perfect place of peace and tranquility, okay? But We're going to go back there and we're going to go to some documentation, and we're going to hear the case of the first case about cheating, okay? Let's go to the Garden of Eden, like I said. Now, some of you people say, Tony, what do you mean, the first case of cheating? Remember, cheating, my brother and sister, it comes down to being faithful. That's the main thing that God require from all of us when it comes to him. God is big on being faithful. When God is about being faithful, God wants us to be faithful towards the relationship when it comes to him. And if a man and woman could be faithful towards God, the chances are great that that man and woman could be faithful to one another. But we're going to see a discrepancy happen in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve, they had what is called a free will. God did not make Adam and Eve a robot, okay? He did not make Adam and Eve a robot. So what he did, he gave them a free will to choose to be faithful to him or unfaithful to him. And we know by reading the book of Genesis that Adam and Eve, they committed an unfaithful act to God. Okay, they committed an unfaithful act. They started dealing with another entity that was in the garden. So they turned their faithfulness from God to this individual called the serpent, what we know as Satan, the devil. His name used to be Lucifer. So the first act of being unfaithful was Adam and Eve. Now keep in mind, Adam and Eve were perfect. They was perfect. And just check this out. Adam and Eve had they was in a perfect environment. They didn't need or want for anything. They had a good flowing relationship with God, and they had a good flowing relationship with one another. They had it all. They had it all. But they made a crucial decision, and they lost a lot. Okay, they lost a lot. But God still took care of them, and he still cared for them. He was still trying to find a way to reconcile the relationship. Even though they committed an unfaithful act by partnering with another individual, which is Satan, right? So the first evidence of unfaithfulness comes from the garden, and Adam and Eve was perfect. Now, if Adam and Eve was perfect and they committed an unfaithful act against God, what is it for a man or woman that coming down the line of the Adam bloodline to do better than Adam and Eve? Now, let me expound something to you, my brothers and sisters. Let me expound this. How you doing, Sister Monica Kenya? Let me expound this, not explain. Brothers and sisters, let's be honest. Let's be honest, because I'm going to go somewhere with this. Brother and sister, we all have been unfaithful to God. We all have been unfaithful to God. There's not one person that listening to my voice that can say he or she never been unfaithful to God. Every man that's listening to my voice, every woman that listens to my voice have been unfaithful to God. So, my brother and sister, if you have been unfaithful to God, what makes you think the possibility of the person that you're in a relationship with or yourself will be completely faithful to that person? If you, brother, you, sister, and myself, if we have been continuously unfaithful to God. Now look at your age, my brothers. Look at your age, my sister. How many acts of spiritual infidelity have we committed against God? And then we go back to God and say, I'm sorry. And we want God to forget it and take it away. That's how we do it, my brothers and sisters, right? That's how we do it. Now, can a man and woman be in a good relationship and cheat? That's the question of the night. Can a man or woman be in a good relationship and cheat? Now remember, I just went over the scene with Adam and Eve when they made a choice. Now we're going to bring it down to an imperfect man and an imperfect woman. There is no man or woman that want his or her mate to cheat on him or her. Not one man and not woman wants that. And my brother and sister, your mate would not want you to do that. But when a man and woman get into a relationship, my brother and sister, listen to me carefully. There's a possibility that you, brother, may cheat on your spouse. Sister, there's a possibility that you may cheat on your spouse. The reason why I'm bringing this to your attention, my brother and sister, because you have cheated on God. And that relationship is way better, way more significant and important than a relationship with a human man or a woman. So if you could not be faithful to God, my brother and sister, what really make you think you can be 100% faithful to your mate? And remember what I said, most people think that being unfaithful means having sex with someone. But we know, based on what Jesus said, it starts in the heart first. When a man look at a woman and start writing, producing, executive producing, directing, and saying action, it all started in the mind first. When you look at a movie on TV, my brother and sister, the movie didn't just appear there. You had somebody that wrote something first. And after that person wrote something, they marketed it, right? And when they marketed it, they got funding. This is where you have the producer, the executive producers. And then you have somebody to give the go-ahead. Then when that person get a go-ahead, you get put in the hands of the director, right? And the director is the one that said action, right? So my brother and sister, when I say action, that's where the action take place. But before the action take place, there's something that happened before the director said action, right? And that lead to us, my brothers and sisters, we all, now stressing this, we all have been unfaithful to God, right? So my brother and sister, let me tell you this. When you get into a relationship with someone, and you could have the best relationship, my brothers and sisters, you could have the best relationship on God's green earth. But there's a strong possibility that you, brother, or you, sister, or both of you may cheat in a relationship. Now, when I say cheat, remember there are different forms of cheating, right? Cheating, I'm going to talk about two of the parts about cheating. I'm going to talk about the emotional cheating, and I'm going to talk about the physical cheating, okay? But it's 5, but I'm going to narrow it down to 2, the emotional cheating and the physical cheating. Brothers and sisters, if you have a closer emotional attachment to a member of the opposite sex, listen to me carefully. If you have a closer relationship to a member of the opposite sex other than your mate, you know it. You know it in your heart, my brother. You know it in your heart, my sister. You are officially emotionally cheating on your spouse. Anytime you sharing more of your life with someone other than your mate, you are cheating on your mate. Something that you feel comfortable talking to a person in the opposite sex, and you won't talk to your mate, or there's a person that you really don't want your mate to know about, that telling you in yourself, anybody, brother, any woman that you're talking to and you don't want your wife to know about it, or sister, any man that you're talking to and you don't want your husband to know about it, that's cheating. Because if you hide in an individual, that's called deception, right? It's called deception. Now, we ain't even talking about the physical aspect. We just talking about the communication part. You see, when a man and woman decides to get in a deeper relationship with another person, it starts with communications, okay? It starts with communication. You, brother, and you, sister, you can have a good husband or you can have a good wife. You can have a whole bunch of peace in your home. Just like Adam and Eve, they had peace in the Garden of Eden. They didn't need for anything. They didn't want for anything, but yet they used their will and they rebelled. And they put something between their relationship with God. Understand? So my brother and sister, what I'm saying, you could have a good relationship with your spouse. You really can have a good relationship with your spouse. But what make you think that you might be totally 100% faithful to your husband and wife? And it doesn't have to get to the sexual part. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to get to the sexual part. It happens in the heart first. Brother, question, is there any woman other than your wife that you're close to? And I ain't talking about your mama and your sisters and all that, your aunts and grandmama. Is there any woman that you close to that you share more than with your wife? And you don't want to let her go. You don't want to let her go because you got an emotional bond towards her. But you don't want your wife to know. She don't know about this individual. Then again, she might know. She might know of the lady, but she don't know what's going on. In your heart, brother, you care for that woman more than you should care for her. The same thing, sister. Is there any man that you are deeper in a conversation with, what you find that you say you find easier to talk to than your husband? And your husband does not know about this other individual, right? But you got to have deep conversation and you feel a bond towards that person. Hello, Sister Deborah E. Scott. So you feel this close bond to this person. So what happens, my brother, and what happens, my sister? This is what happens. While you communicating with another person other than, I'm talking to you single people, if you get engaged and you move towards marriage, or you married, okay? This is what we talk about cheating, okay? If you're not married, my brother and sister, listen to me carefully. If you're not married and you're just dating someone, you got to keep in mind, my brother and sister, realistically, you are not bonded to that other person. Society may say it. Some brother and sister, you may fool yourself that y'all are exclusive. But brother and sister, you really not exclusive until you get to the point where as you are serious, committed, and move towards the covenant relationship. The show just how serious you are in a relationship, my brother and sister. You need to jump over all three of those hurdles. And when you do that, there's a possibility that you can have a good home. You don't have no arguments with your spouse. When I say argument, you may have some minor disagreement, but it ain't enough for you to want to throw the relationship away. That individual that you living with, my brother and sister, you might not, in your mind, you saying, I will never leave my man, or I will never leave my woman. You could be thinking that in your mind. And when you say I would never leave my man, or I would never leave my woman, you are actually talking about, I'm not going to leave this resident. I'm going to stay with him or her. But when you go and you emotionally tied to someone else, you really have actually left out the home, my brother and sister, even though you don't think so. If you could be living with your spouse and everything could be going okay, but when you entertaining someone else, you have actually left out the relationship. Not physically, but emotionally, you have done it. And I know some people find it hard to believe, but you have done it. So first of all, it happens in the mind. And when it happens in the mind, my brothers and sisters, then it goes to your will. And at your will, that's the point where you make a decision to do something or not to do it. Then once it passes your mind and you check it out with your will, that's when it goes to your heart, where your emotions are at. So just look at it this way. How you doing, Sister Yolanda? Brother and sister, is there anyone other than your mate that you think about quite a bit? In the past, is there anyone while you're with your mate you think about quite a bit? And you have certain thoughts about them that you will not share with your mate? Is there anyone that you're communicating with and your mate doesn't know about it? And you don't want your mate to know about it. Now, when this thing starts with the mind, it moves to the will, and then you get emotional, so you get emotionally tied with that person. Now, what happens after you get emotionally tied to that person? More than likely, the chances are very strong from the emotional part of it, my brother and sister. Once you do the communications, because it starts in the mind and the heart, then you have the communication. Then you decide to start spending time with someone else, right? And when you decide to start spending time with someone else, that's going to lead to, when you start spending time with someone, my brother and sister, you'll get more bonded with that person. Mentally, you get more bonded with that person. Emotionally, you get more bonded with that person. But your mate doesn't know about it. So once you get mentally and emotionally tied to this person, then more than likely the chances of you going to cross over to that land called the physical part of the relationship. The chances are very strong, my brother and sister, if you're going to spend time with someone other than your mate and you got feelings for that person. Now, it doesn't happen in all cases, but you already cheating emotionally. You cheating emotionally, because Jesus basically said, because you think about, let me tell you something, my brother and sister, what a lot of people don't want to admit. When you spend the time with a member of the opposite sex and you got emotional feelings towards that person, realistically, men going to think sexually about that woman. It's going to go to the man. He's going to start thinking sexually. He might say this woman is my friend, but he's going to have sexual thoughts about the woman. Let me tell you something, sisters. Let me tell you something. Let me be truthful with you, okay? And remember, my motto is, I'm not going to put no sugar in your tea. I'm going to put some salt on your steak. Let me tell you something, sister. A man that's in a relationship with another woman, and he consistently communicates with you, and he consistently be with you, that man have feelings for you. It's more than when he get to the sex part, because he's gonna want to have sex with you. I'm just telling you like it is, sister. He's gonna eventually want to have sex with you. Even if a woman is not that attractive. If the woman is not, you see, some of you sisters, you think that a woman got to be attracted Or then some of you sisters know that the woman don't have to be attractive. But if that man again spending time with that woman, him being a man, more than likely he's going to want to have physical intimacy with that woman. And likewise, if you in a relationship with a man and you spend time with another man, you sister, you are more emotional than a man. You're more emotional than a man. So you're going to cleave quicker than a man most of the time. Now, some men cleave quicker than some women, but majority of the time, sister, you're going to cleave more closer to that man. You're going to share some things with that. That's right, Sister Florida, adjustable self. That man that you spending time with, you know what you're going to be doing? You're going to be telling him a lot about what's going on in your household. Now, there's some men that tell women what's going on in their household. There's some men that do. But majority of the time, women going to tell what's going on in their household with this other man. They're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts of their spouse. Now, when they have problems with their spouse, that make the woman more susceptible to move beyond the emotional realm of the relationship. So when a woman is closer to a man that she's spending time with and she's having problems at home, women, they want comfort. They looking for an understanding ear. And when a woman is looking for an understanding ear, she is more vulnerable to this man that she consider her friend. And lo and behold, sister, this man that you consider your friend, you already emotionally attached to him. And then more than likely, the chances on a scale between 0 and 10, 10 being the highest, you and that man, more than likely, you're going to have sexual relationship with each other because you already emotionally bonded to him. And if he catch you at quote unquote the right time, you more than likely you're going to do it. And I'm going to tell you about it, out of 10 women, if 10 women have a man that they share in their hopes and dreams and everything about their being with another man deeper than what they're doing with their man at home, the next step is going to be the physical part because you already emotionally tied to that man. So if this man catch you at quote unquote the right time, you're going to do it. And what's going to happen, sister, you may feel remorseful while you're doing it. Because you see, your conscience, you're going to be wrestling with your conscience, okay? You're going to be wrestling with your conscience. And when you wrestle with your conscience, you're going to try to hold back, but yet you're going to do it. You're going to want to do it. Hold back, want to do it. Hold back, want to do it. Then you're going to do it. And those of you that are real good women, it's going to burn your conscience more than those women that's out there, that's out there for the streets. It's going to burn your conscience. And you're going to probably go ahead with it. You're going to probably shed some tears. You're going to take a bath, and you're probably going to feel dirty. You're going to be sitting in that tub or in the shower. You're going to be scrubbing, like that's because you really didn't think you would do it. You didn't think you would do it, but you find yourself doing it. So you in the shower, the bathroom, you showering and washing, but it's not, your body's not dirty now. It's your conscience that's dirty. Because it's something that you didn't want to do, but you did. And the same thing too, brother, when you cross over with another woman and you got emotional feeling towards that woman and you looking in that woman's eyes when you talk to that woman and you're looking in that woman's eyes and you sharing a lot of things with her, and then when you get to the physical part, you, brother, looking into that woman's eyes and she looking into your eyes, that's some lustful passion. because you looking right in each other's eyes. Don't you know, my brother and sister, you have heard this. You have heard the saying that the eyes are the window to the soul, right? So while you, brother, and you, sister, looking in each other's eyes, and y'all get to the physical part of the relationship, your relationship is going to change. It's no way your relationship going to stay the same once you cross over to the sexual part of the relationship. Once you cross over that, brother and sister, you can't go back to ours when you left Kansas. Anytime you leave Kansas and go to ours, you ain't like Dorothy that got back to Kansas and it was a dream. It was a dream to Dorothy on the Wizard of Oz. It was a dream to her, but it won't be no dream to you, brother, and you, sister. Once you leave Kansas and go to Oz, you in Oz. Oz ain't no fantasy. You have crossed over. You have got bonded, brother, with another woman on all levels. You have gotten bonded with a woman mentally. You have gotten bonded with that woman emotionally and physically. Sister, the same thing. You get bonded with that man emotional, mentally, and physically. Once you cross over, you're going to find this, my brother and sister. You're going to be thinking more about that person when you're not around them. Throughout the day, you're going to be thinking about them. You could be even with your mate, brothers, and you got a good relationship at home. Sister, you can be in a good relationship with your man, but once you cross over that line, you're going to be, a lot of your thought time and feeling going to be towards the other person. You're going to find yourself communicating with that person because you tired. You got a tie now. You will call that person. You will text that person. You will find a way to get to that person, especially you stay in close proximity together. I hope I say that word right. You're going to do it. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to keep doing it. And then in your conscience, my brother and sister, you're gonna tell yourself sometime, I need to stop this. I need to stop. I need to stop. But you can't stop. You can't stop it, my brothers and sisters. Once you start it, there's no way you can stop. Mm-hmm. On your own, that is. So what am I saying? This is what I'm saying, my brother, and this is what I'm saying, my sisters. When you go into a relationship, brothers, with a woman, sister, when you go into a relationship with a man, you need to be aware of you probably going to be tempted in your relationships. I'm not here to make you all think that relationships going to be smooth all the time, even the best relationships. People that you see on TV, people that you know in person. You don't know what's going on in that person's mind. You don't know what's going on in that person's heart. You don't know. But the reality is, the thing is called temptation too. If you, brother, and you, sister, be in a good relationship with a member of the opposite sex, and your relationship is going good, let me tell you this. Your relationship is going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged, my brothers. It's going to be challenged, my sister. Because the Bible clearly says that Satan walks around like a roaring lion, seeing whom he can devour. If Satan get wind of your relationships and his other demons that in different parts of the world, because you got to understand this, brother and sister, Satan cannot be at more than one place at one time. Satan brought a third of the angels with him. So there's angels appointed to wherever. When I say angels, I'm talking about ex-angels. that's in your town that's checking you out. So if they can't get you, they got to go to the big gun. Who's the big gun? Satan. And they got to run a report by him. Because you got to understand what Satan got going on. Satan organization is organized. The ex-angels that work for Satan, they are organized and ranked. If you got a good relationship, either Satan or one of his demons going to challenge your relationship. And you must understand that, you, especially you single brother and sister, your relationship is going to be challenged. Now, if you got a wild relationship, they ain't even worried about you. But if you trying to have a good, solid relationship, the gates of hell coming at you strong, my brother and sister. You might meet up with Satan yourself. If you don't meet up with him, I mean, you going his way anyway. But Satan gonna prove a point to you, brother, and Satan gonna prove a point to you, sister, where he's gonna find your weak spot. He's gonna find that little space in your armor that he could infiltrate. He's gonna bring things to your mind, brothers. He's gonna bring things to your mind, sister. How you doing, Sister Antoinette? He's going to bring things to your mind. For example, brothers, if you in a relationship with a good woman and you got a good household going on, Satan know what you like. He might know more that what you like than what you know yourself. You saying, I'm not going to cheat on my wife. That's what you're saying. When you say I'm not going to cheat on my wife, you talking about the physical part, right? Because that's what most men would think. I'm not going to cheat on my wife. They thinking physical. But remember I said cheating started, what did Jesus say? Jesus said in Matthew 5:27-28, he said, you have heard that it was said in the old time, you shall not commit adultery. But I say unto you that everyone that looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. And that go for a woman too. So it starts in your heart first. So brother, you might say, I'm not going to cheat on my woman. You talk about physical, right? But you see, physical, that's just the cherry on top of the pie. But the real thing is when you get emotionally hooked to another woman, brother. The sex come here and there. You're not going to have sex with this woman all the time, but you're going to be communicating with her. And the more you communicate with her, you're going to get closer and closer and closer to her. But you got a good household going on, right? You and your woman, y'all have a good relationship. You got good communications. You do things. You got everything going on in your relationship, just like Adam and Eve had it going on in the Garden of Eden. And they was perfect, but they messed up. What did Satan do? Satan approached them. He used an object, but he was infiltrating the mind of Eve and Adam. Primarily Eve. He infiltrated Eve's mind because Eve listened to her. Speaking of Eve, sister, let me talk to you. That man that you talk to a lot, the one that your husband don't know about. Or he might know about him, but he thinking that y'all cool, right? But you know it's something else going on the inside of you. You might not have sex with the other man, sister, but I'm telling you, if you continue to talk to another man, a sexual thought is going to go through your mind. It might not be there all the time, but you're going to think about that man a certain way. Even if he look like little ugly. Even if he look like little ugly. But if that man there and you go and share your hopes and dreams and your disappointment with him more than your husband, because you might feel that it's some subject that you can't talk to your husband about that you talked a little ugly about. And he started looking pretty, handsome. Because at first you said, ain't no way, I can't see myself getting with Junior. I can't see it. Rico Jr., that is. I can't see myself getting together with Rico Jr. But the more time you spend with him, and if Rico Jr. know how to spit some words in your ear, and you have a little slight problem at home, you're going to go in for the okie doke. And the thing about it, sister, this is critical. You don't operate like a man. You might think you can operate like a man, but you can't operate like a man because you are emotional. You think about the guy, you're emotionally tied to the guy, you have sex with the guy, and then it gets deeper. It starts getting deeper. And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm telling you, that's how it is, my brothers. That's how it is, my sister. Because Satan's going to challenge your relationship. Because you're in a good place. Just like he challenged Adam and Eve relationship, they was in a good place with God. Now, some of you brothers and sisters, you may be following God. You may be equally yoked. You married the right person, brother, that God brought to you in your imperfect state. Sister, God calls an imperfect man, but the right man to find you because God did the lead work. Just like God and Adam and Eve had a good relationship, a perfect one, God got a relationship with an imperfect man, you brother, and an imperfect relationship with you, sister. But y'all together, right? You following God, brother. Sister, she following God. But guess what? Just like Satan was in the garden, he could come to your house. He could come to your house through TV, radio, your friends, your family, and use them to talk to you. Talk in your ears. Put thoughts in your head. You listen to records, putting thoughts in your head. You see, my brother, so you have to guard your eyes and you have to guard your ears. Because Satan, do you not realize, my brother and sister, that when Satan was up in heaven, he was over, let's say, the media? He was the minister of music. The media. He know how to manipulate the media. Don't sometimes you see things on TV and you wonder how it can happen? Have you ever looked at a magician and how they trick you? They say that the hands are quicker than the eyes, right? That Satan just like that too. He tricks you, brother. He tricks you, sister. But he study you and he know what you like. What does a roaring lion do? Because the Bible says Satan moved. He moved like a roaring lion, seeking who he devour. Satan be walking to and fro. If you ever went to the zoo and you see a lion sometime, they'll look at you. And if they could get to you, they're going to be walking to and fro, trying to figure out how I'm going to eat you for lunch. That's what lions be thinking, how I'm going to eat you for lunch. Lions really don't run for people. They really, a lot of times, they don't run. They'll come at you. And that's how Satan is. Can you be in a good relationship and still cheat? Yes, you can. Yes, you can cheat if you're in a good relationship. If it's not sexually, it could be emotionally. It don't have to be sexual. It could be an emotional thing. You might not even get to the sexual part, the physical part, but it could be emotional cheating. So what do you do, brother? What do you do, sister, when your mate cheat on you? What do you do? Do you kick them out the house. Now you got a good relationship. You got a good relationship. Do you kick them out of the house? Do you file for a divorce? That's what I want to know, brother, sister. What do you do? Do you file for a divorce or you kick them out of the house if you find out your mate cheated on you? Is it better if they cheat on you emotionally or physically? Which one you could take the most? The emotional cheating or the physical cheating? Which one, if you had to make a choice, my brother or sister, which cheating part can you take? The emotional cheating or the physical cheating? You see, the emotional cheating, that could go deep and long. The sexual thing, that's here and there. Now, when you get the emotional cheating and the physical cheating, I mean, they done stepped it up or not. What would you do, brother? What would you do if you find out, if you look through your woman's phone and you see some texts with her and another guy? What would you do? What if you email? What would you do, brother? What would you do, brother, if you hear a voicemail of a guy? What would you do? What would you do, brother? What would you do if your woman is communicating a lot with another guy and you don't know nothing about it, but you stumble over it? Sister, what about you? What would you do if you go through your man's phone and you see some texting, texting your man texting with another woman? What would you do? Sister, what would you do if you listen to his voicemail, your man voicemail, when he go to the bathroom, and you jump to that phone and you listen to a voicemail? What would you do? Brother and sister, what would you both do if you find out that your mate going out with someone else? No sex don't have to take place. What would you do? What would you think and what would you feel if you find out that it was so? What would you do? Before they went out, my brother and sister, you know what? Before they went out with each other, there was some communication. They didn't just show up at a restaurant or the movie or nothing like that. It was communication and it was a plan. You understand? It was communication and a plan. So when they communicated and planned, that's when they got there. Nothing just don't start like that, brother and sister. Every move a man and woman make, it starts in the mind and the heart. And then the will activated. And then you see it play out. Brother and sister, you got a good relationship at home. Let's talk about you personally. If you, brother, emotionally cheat on your woman, what do you think and what do you feel? Sister, let's talk about you. You emotionally or you physically cheat on your man, what do you do? Do you tell your mate that I cheated on you? Or you keep it up on the wraps? What if your mate come to you and say, I got this feeling, or I think that you stepping out on me? Even though it seems like everything is going hunky-dory, but let me tell you this, my brother and sister, I don't care how good you are at this thing, you're going to deviate off your pattern. And if you might could be smart. You might be smart, my brother and sister. You may be smart. You may be crafty. Let me tell you, but it's all about pattern and behavior. You're going to deviate off your pattern and behavior. Even though you try to get things tight, you're going to do it. And like I said, yes, you could be in a good relationship and a man and woman can cheat. But remember I said you can cheat emotionally. It doesn't have to get to the physical part. but more than likely, eventually going to get to the physical part when the opportunity presents itself. Because once you leave out of your house and you meet with that person and you keep meeting with them, you might start out meeting in public, brothers and sisters. You may start meeting out in public with him or her. But eventually you're going to get to a point where y'all get isolated. You sister going to go to his place or her place, or you're going to meet at a hotel or something like that. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. But you don't want it to go down, do you? And the reason I can say that, I always go back to the Garden of Adam and Eve. It went down back in there. Adam and Eve cheated on God with Satan. They made a choice. They had the perfect condition. They had everything they need and want, but yet they cheated on God. And it hurt God hard. It hurt him. And what did God do? God killed some animals to put some skin on Adam and Eve because he still cared for them. That's what God did. Even though Adam and Eve did God wrong, he still wanted a relationship with them. The question is, was God a fool? Was God a fool for caring for Adam and Eve when they hurt him to his heart? Would you say God is a fool, my brother and sister? Would you say he's a fool? Now, you're a fool if you say God is a fool. Fool. Now, the question is, if God can reconcile a relationship back between a man and a woman, he bring the man and woman back to him, do you think it's possible, my brother and sister, if your mate does that, that you could take him or her back? If you do that, brother and sister, would you want your mate to take you back? Sister Flo say no. Now, what I'm saying, from a flesh standpoint, you are on shaky ground, my brother and sister, if you do that against a human. Because I know people say, well, I ain't God. I ain't God. But remember what I said, my brother and sister, every man and woman that listens to my voice have cheated on God spiritually. Every man and woman that listens to my voice have cheated on God. Every man and woman that listens to my voice have disappointed God. Every man and woman that listens to my voice God looked at him or her and said, there's hope. Every man and woman that have done something against God, God forgave. When the man and woman admitted that he or she did something. How you doing, Sister Danielle? The man and woman admitted that they did something and God forgave. He forgave. But you see the thing about God, when God forgive you, most men and women think when they run to God to forgive, they're trying to avoid the consequences. Now you could hurt God, you could disappoint God, God will forgive you, but God does not stop the consequence. Because the Bible clearly says, whatever you sow, you reap. God do not move that away from you. If you put yourself in a situation, my brother and sister, you got to bear the fruit. Because when you plant a seed, whatever seed you plant, brother and sister, you're going to reap a harvest. The Bible clearly says, if you sow to the flesh, you reap of the flesh. If you sow to the spirit, you reap of the spirit. So God will forgive you, but he's not going to stop the consequence. Just know that, brother and sister, he's not going to stop the consequence, but he will forgive you. Just like a human. Now, humans are different. Human philosophy is, if you cheat on me, that's it. It's a wrap. You see, more people that want to leave a relationship is when they find out that they may have been having sex with someone else. But before they had sex with someone else, brother and sister, a lot of times, they had communication with someone that you didn't know about. It started in the mind first, then it came to communication before it got to the sex. There was some people don't understand. They just think it, boom, the sex. It wasn't. Sex was the aftermath of the conversation. It's deeper than the sex. The emotional and the physical. So my brother and sister, the only thing I can say, when you get in a relationship, brother, with a woman, sister, when you get in a relationship with a man, the best you could do is hope that it doesn't happen. What scares you the most, the emotional part or the physical part? What really scares you the most? If you had a choice, what scares you the most? I don't want my mate to get emotionally tied, committed to someone else, or I just don't want my mate to have sex with someone else. You lose both ways. But like the New Edition had a song out some years ago, Can You Stand the Rain? That's why I'm telling you, my brother and sister, and let me tell you, brother and sister, this too. You can love your mate. You can have a good home life, but don't ever say what your mate will and will not do. Don't ever say that, my brother and sister, because if you say what your mate will or will not do, someone might know something that what your mate is doing. And then you will appear to be like a fool, because if you're talking about what your mate will and won't do, someone knows some stuff about your mate, and then he or she will say, only if he or she knew. The only thing you could say is, I hope that he or she doesn't do it. Because he or she got a free will like you got a free will. Go back to the Garden of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had a free will, didn't they? God didn't control them. He let them decide what they were going to do. Just like God to let us decide what we're going to do. Just like you let your mate decide what he or she going to do. And like your mate let you decide what you're going to do. It's all up to you, my brother and sister. Can you be in a good relationship and still cheat? It's possible. But hopefully it doesn't happen to you, brothers. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you, sisters. I hope that I enlighten you. I'm not trying to scare you from a relationship. I just want you to open your eyes, brothers and sisters. Just open your eyes. Tomorrow for dinner time, my brother and sister, guess what? I'm going to talk about a topic, Lord willing. It's called God Will Let You Know Not to Leave Your Relationship. Listen to me carefully. God will let you know not to leave your relationship. But the question is, what type of relationship am I talking about? Okay? So you have to stay tuned tomorrow to see what type of relationship I'm talking about for God not to want you to leave it, okay? I love you, brother. I love you, sisters. Peace out.